Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Total world victory
of
Hare Krishna. Hi,
Hello, I'm Prahlad,
I'm Isabela.
and today we are doing Bhagavad-gita 227.
Ooh, how exciting. Jātasya hi dhruvo mṛtyur dhruvaṁ janma mṛtasya cha tasmād aparihārye rthe tvam śocitum arhasi. Jātasya
One who has taken his birth,
hi
certainly,
dhruvo
a fact,
mṛtyuḥ
death,
dhruvaṁ
it is also a fact,
janma
birth,
mṛtasya
of the dead,
cha
also,
tasmāt
therefore,
aparihārye
for that which is unavoidable,
arthe
in the matter of,
na
do not,
tvam
you,
śocitum
to lament,
arhasi.
deserve. Translation.
For one who has taken his birth, death is certain, and for one who is dead, birth is certain. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament.
Purport. One has to take birth according to one's activities of life. And after finishing one term of activities, one has to die to take birth for the next. In this cycle of birth and death, in this way, the cycle of birth and death is revolving, one after the other without liberation. This cycle of birth and death does not, however, support unnecessary murder, slaughter, and war. But at the same time, violence and war are inevitable factors in human society for keeping law and order. The Battle of Kurukshetra, being the will of the Supreme, was the inevitable event, and to fight for the right cause is the duty of a Kshatriya. Why should he be afraid of or aggrieved at the death of his relatives, since he was discharging his proper duty? He did not deserve to break the law, thereby becoming subjected to the reactions of sinful acts, of which he was so afraid. By avoiding the discharge of his proper duty, he would not be able to stop the death of his relatives, and he would be degraded due to his selection of the wrong path of action. Okay. Yeah, the difference. What are the differences?
A lot. Instead of for one, it's just one. Instead of sure to die, it is death is certain. Instead of for one who is dead, it is and after death one is sure to take birth again. And then in the first one it was birth is certain. Yeah.
And if we look at the reasons for those changes, none of them are there.
Ooh. Amazing, guys. Amazing. Let's just change the Bhagavad-gita and just not give a reason. Very smart.
Yeah. And also, it also means that there have been additional changes that are not annotated here, and the annotations for these changes were made post after the changes actually happened. So there's been either additional round of changes that they've done, or they just didn't write it down.
Great job, guys.
Anyway, are the rest of the changes?
In the purport, there is, instead of in this way, the cycle of birth and death is revolving one after the other without liberation. It is in this way one is going through one cycle of birth and death after another without liberation.
What are the changes? What is the difference in meaning?
This is the part that I can't do.
Or just think about it.
Because I have literally no clue. The cycle of birth and death is revolving one after the other without liberation. One is going through the cycle. Revolving, continuously going through one cycle of birth and death after another without liberation. They may mean the same thing. One is going instead of the cycle. I don't know. There's probably like some different meaning for words and stuff, but don't know. I feel like revolving is a much better word. Kind of summarizes it. Yeah.
Well, what is the subject of the sentence in each one?
The hell?
What is the subject of the sentence?
The revolving birth and death. I don't know.
Well, one of them is a split clause, and the other one is not.
Bro, clauses got my mind going every single place all at once.
Comment reader.
From Josh Wolf, check Srila Prabhupada's manuscript to see if the impulse is from there or somewhere else. Okay.
If the impulse. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, commenter.
If you could elaborate.
Yep.
Yeah, so talking about this, is a split clause in this one, and it is an unsplit clause in this one. The impulse to change it.
Impulse to change it.
I think he's talking about the translation. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after one is sure to take his birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, do not deserve to be lamenting. You do not deserve to be lamenting. One who's taken sure to die. I mean, yeah, technically, it is closer to the manuscript, the second edition. You can see that. Yeah. Anyway, talking about this sentence, the original is a split clause, meaning, you know what a split clause is, right?
Hell no. Probably. Just don't remember.
It's just a sentence separated by a comma, which there will be a main clause and then a subclause.
I do know. Yeah, I do, I think.
So in this one, because it's a split clause, the main clause, in this way, the cycle of birth and death is revolving, one after the other without liberation.
So the main one's the first one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So the main part of the sentence is talking about the cycle of birth and death. And in this way, one is going through the cycle of birth and death after another without liberation. The subject of the sentence is changed from the cycle of birth and death is revolving to one is going through the cycle of birth and death. And it doesn't say that it's revolving. Yeah, it's just a change in the meaning, slight. From the manuscript, it says this way the cycle of birth and death is going on after another without any liberation. I think it's the right sentence. And after finishing one time. What? The finishing, yeah. Sentence is completely different. In this way, the cycle of in this way, the cycle of birth and death is going on. There's one is going one after another without any liberation. Okay, that's a bit confusing. Anyway, what do you got to say?
Yes. Well, split clauses are interesting. I've learned that today. You can always learn something from a Bhagavad-gita class. Not just the stuff about the Bhagavad-gita.
I don't think it's actually a split clause. It's just a normal clause. A split clause is when there's 3 commas and there's a little part in the middle that's been added. But this is just a normal clause with a main clause and a subclause. It's clause spelt like Santa Claus.
No E on the end? I thought it would have an E on the end.
I don't think it does.
Klaus. Okay. Interesting. And the second one, it's clearly the most important one, according to clause theory, is that, yeah, you're going to die. But in the first one is that for one who has taken birth.
Which part are you talking about?
But are we talking about the purport or the translation?
The purport.
In the first one, there's a split clause about how the cycle of birth and death is revolving one after the other without liberation.
It's just a normal clause.
God. Okay, fine. The first one is just a normal clause. The second one is a normal clause too. Is it?
We'll read it.
Yeah.
Is there a comma?
No. Is it just a sentence or is it?
Then it's just a sentence.
Just a sentence, not a clause. Okay, Santa Claus didn't bless us with,
A clause has
his appearance today.
A clause is one sentence that has 2 subjects.
It does have a E clause.
Well, that's something that I did not know. But yeah, the clause is just a sentence that has 2 different subjects separated by a comma. The main clause and then subclause.
Huh.
So when a sentence doesn't have a comma, it is now no longer a clause. Which means that the subject of the sentence may have changed. In this case, it has changed slightly. Yeah, and so that's something else that I've noticed in the changes. the changing of clauses and subclauses to not be clauses and subclauses, clauses and split clauses, which has an effect on the subject of the sentence. And you wouldn't really notice unless you looked at the differences that there would be a difference in meaning. Yeah, so yeah, talking about the actual purports, what have you got?
That's the bit that I was actually studying. You know, birth and death. Wow. Fun, amazing. It's a continuous cycle until you reach liberation, which you hopefully do. But if you don't, you know, over and over and over and over and over again, you're going to be born, and then you're going to go and live through your life's purpose, and then you're going to die. Then you're going to be born again with a different soul. Yeah, and so...
Wait, with a different soul?
Different soul. You don't change out souls?
No. That is the antithesis of
The philosophy of the Bhagavad-gita.
I thought you, like, died, and then your soul went and joined the super soul, and then, like, your next body, well, not yours, the next person's body is going to be, like, another soul that just floats in and says hi.
It depends on who you are referring to when you say you, who you think you are.
My current body, Isabela, right now, and then when I die...
What do you mean when I die?
When my body dies.
Mine means if the body belongs to you, then who are you?
Your mom. Who am I? I am... The Bhagavad-gita will say something, but right now I'm...
The crux of Krishna's conversation with Arjuna is about who Arjuna is identifying himself as.
Clearly I haven't taken anything in then. Oh, this is fun to play. You know, and even if you, like, fulfill the... What are you doing?
hey, keep going.
Fulfill the purpose of your life. If you're a kshatriya, fulfill your duty. That is literally what you were born to do. You have no other purpose in life. How exciting, guys. And so therefore when Arjuna was, like, kind of being like, oh, I don't want to kill my family because it's a sin, and then it's like, bro, it's your duty. It's like an honor to do your duty. You're a kshatriya, man. You could be a sudra. Be grateful for what you have.
Yeah, there's kind of two thrusts to Krishna's argument. One is about doing your duty, but then the other one is about talking to Arjuna about who Arjuna thinks he is.
While doing that, the mic's picking it up.
I mean, these last few verses in the second chapter, which is called Sankhya Yoga, or the yoga of discrimination. This is discriminating, who are you? See, the answer to the question, what should I do, is impacted by who am I? If you change who you think you are, what you should do changes along with that.
Mm.
You know, like those Maori videos, you know, you are not the father, you know? Like, you see people in an instant, that's a contemporary application for you, in an instant, in that moment where they say you are the father or you are not the father, you know? Like, in an instant, what they do and their whole future and everything shifts instantaneously. And so in the same way, Krishna's addressing who Arjuna thinks he is.
Not the father.
Not the body. You are not the body!
Wait, how old was Arjuna when he was fighting this battle?
I don't know. Krishna was 120. So somewhere around there, probably.
That's weird.
People lived a lot longer back then.
And they didn't look wrinkly.
No. Especially not Krishna, he's not a Yodana. He always looked like he was 16. It's kind of like Peter Pan,
That's
except not satanic.
not scary at all.
Personality of God.
Yeah, no. Contemporary application. Let's skip to that, guys. All right, you go. It's your turn to explain the Purport. Whatever you think is real or not.
So you can't get a different soul because you are the soul. Or in Sanskrit, Atma. That's your identity.
Make them go deaf.
You just peak the audio and then it cuts.
Yeah, be real careful. That mic is very sensitive. You bang anything.
Yeah, so talking about the purports. Again, this being a continuation of the last purport 226. It talks about however, if you believe that the soul, what does it say? However, if you think that the soul is perpetually born and always dies, still you have no reason to lament. And then continuing on with the same point, you should not lament, because death is certain when there is birth, and when there is death, birth is certain. So it is in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. I like how it says in the unavoidable discharge of your duty. It's like you're gonna do it anyway, so you should not lament about it. Sort of the sort of what he's saying.
Well, you know what? If you have a look at the word for word of the Sanskrit, it doesn't say unavoidable duty. The word duty doesn't appear there at all. Do you notice that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you have a look at Prabhupada's manuscript, this idea of the unavoidable discharge of the duty, is that in the manuscript? Prabhupada?
Yeah.
What does he say in there?
Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you do not deserve to be lamenting.
Okay, but now have a look at the word for word of the verse and see if you can, see what it's saying. See, Prabhupada's translations are purported translations.
One who has taken his birth, certainly a fact. Death, it is also a fact. Birth of the dead, also. Therefore, for things unavoidable in the matter of do not you to lament deserve. I think it's been inferred that he's talking about, or Krishna is talking about his duty, because it says in the matter of, and then do not you to lament deserve.
Yeah, but if you look at it, what Krishna is saying in that verse, without Srila Prabhupada's purported translation, is he's saying, for one who is born, death is certain, and for one who dies, birth is certain. So it's unavoidable, and you shouldn't cry about it.
Mm.
It's like, there's no point in, what does that thing say? Give me the...
Crying over spilt milk.
Crying over spilt milk, and there's a saying, it's the desiderata. It's like, Lord, give me the courage to change the things I can, and the tolerance to bear the things that I cannot, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two. And so this is one of those things that you can't change, man. you're born, you're gonna die, man.
Why?
Everybody's gonna die. There's no way that can be avoided. So there's no point getting upset about that.
But how you die?
Say more about that.
I'd rather die peacefully than die being murdered by a serial killer who enjoys torture.
Okay.
You know.
But after you die, it's not going to really matter, is it?
But those last moments, they could either be filled with fear or peace. Choose.
Doesn't matter.
There's a song, can't remember what it is. It's on Seventh Son of a Seventh Son by Iron Maiden. And they say, but as soon as you're born, you're dying. And then there's another one, I think it's on Power Slave. The song is called Die With Your Boots On. If you're gonna die, 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 die with your boots on. Yeah.
If you're gonna die, if you're gonna die, if you're gonna die, die with your eardrums intact.
Choosing how you die is, you're going to die, but how you die, well, that's the game, isn't it?
Choosing how you die only matters before you die.
Yeah. But you're not dead yet, so it matters.
But you notice that most people, here's a contemporary application, most people are like trying to avoid dying. Like all the propaganda about COVID and everything was, take the jab and you can avoid dying,
Well, dying now.
Yeah, exactly. But it was like, yeah, you can avoid dying. But it was like, you can't avoid dying, man. You're going to die. How are you going to die? But do you see how no one is ever about like, okay, you know what? The whole thing of this life is about how you die. Nobody ever thinks like that. They're always like, oh, avoid dying, avoid dying, avoid dying. It's like, you can't avoid dying. The only question is how you die. Prabhupada was like, don't take me to the hospital. Don't give me any of that stuff.
It also says in the Purport, one has to die to take birth in the next. In this way, the cycle of birth and death is revolving, one after another without liberation. Yeah, it's a good piece of the Purport. Basically says that without liberation, the cycle of birth and death will continue.
Whoa.
So to escape the cycle of birth and death, liberation is the way.
Wait, does birth and death, when does it start? Like birth or conception? Because some people's lives are being very short if it starts at conception.
Yeah.
That was not a joke.
Yeah, no, that's true. They are.
Wow, I'm 2 weeks old. Oh.
Yeah, because
Bye.
I mean, in various places it says different things. In one place it says the soul comes in after 3 months or something. But at the moment of conception,
3 months.
hang on.
El Goober. All right, our contemporary application. You aren't the father. You are not the father. Congrats.
I like how in those shows when it says, you are not the father, the lady immediately just starts sprinting off like behind stage and the cameraman always sprints off after them. And it happens like the exact same way every single time. And they got like a couch up the back that they sit on. So it's obviously staged.
Well, we saw one. We watched one yesterday or today sometime, and the lady jumped up and started cheering. It was a different one. It was a black lady judge.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that one.
Judge Janine. Yeah, that's different from Murray. If it's Murray, they always run to the couch.
Yeah, because the woman wants the guy to be the father. Oh, sometimes she doesn't, but a lot of times, yeah. But this one, she didn't want him to be the father. He was driving 160 miles every weekend to see.
Oh, I've watched that.
You saw it?
Yeah.
And then the judge is like, "What are you cheering for? Like nobody loves me and I'm a single mother. Like, what is this?"
Yep. I wonder how that one turned out.
Yeah, you were saying before that.
Who?
You.
I'm just looking to see if I can find out the moment of conception.
Judge
There's a
Judy.
verse in the Gita where it talks about the rains coming down in grains.
Yeah.
And souls come down in the rain, they go into the grains.
So you're eating souls.
Yeah.
Yep.
Soul eating.
Yum yum. Souls taste pretty good.
I'm pretty sure one of the previous purports you did a class on not too long ago, it talked about the soul is always there. It was never, it's not created, but it has always existed.
Never. Natvevaham jatunasam natvam nevi janani behind the chavana the vishyama sarvivayam taparam. 212, I think. Never was there, or 210, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all of these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be.
Yeah, so then couldn't you just say that it doesn't matter when the soul gets connected to the material body, because it always has and was always destined to be?
Well, I think that Isha's question is about the like the form of the baby.
Yeah, but the soul
enters into it.
the soul has technically always been there.
Okay, so now have a look at the purport to 8.3. It's the purport to 8.3. And then so read the verse, and then part of the purport that you're after is like the fourth paragraph. 8.3.
The Supreme Lord said, the indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called the Self. Action pertaining to the development of these material bodies is called karma, or fruitive activities. And what do you say was the fourth one? What do you say it was again?
8.3, fourth paragraph.
Impersonalist commentators on the Gita unreasonably assume that Brahman takes the form of jiva in the material world, and to substantiate this, they refer to chapter 15, verse 7 of the Gita. But this verse also speaks of the living entity as an eternal fragment of myself, the fragment of God. The living entity may fall down into the material world, but the Supreme Lord Achyuta never falls down. Therefore, this assumption that the Supreme Brahman assumes the form of the jiva is not acceptable. It is important to remember that the Vedic literature Brahman, the living entity, is distinguished from the Parabrahman, the Supreme Lord. Oi!
You're in the fifth paragraph.
1, 2, 3. No, there's only 4 paragraphs. That's the fourth one. Are you looking at the right edition?
No, I'm looking at the wrong edition. So, anyways, the paragraph before that one.
In the process of sacrifice, when does the paragraph start? How does it start?
Yeah, I think it's in the process of sacrifice.
In the process of sacrifice, the living entity makes specific sacrifices to attain specific heavenly planets, and consequently reaches them. When the merit of the sacrifice is exhausted, then the living entity descends to earth in the form of rain, then takes on the form of grains, and the grains are eaten by man and transformed into semen, which impregnates a woman. And thus the living entity once again attains the human form to perform sacrifice, and so repeat the same cycle. In this way, the living entity perpetually comes and goes on the material path. The Krishna conscious person, however, avoids such sacrifices. He takes directly to Krishna consciousness and thereby prepares himself to return to Godhead. So he come as rain beforehand.
Wee!
Okay.
So that means that the soul is impregnated at the moment of conception.
We were learning about genetics the other day. Ooh, have fun.
Yep, this
Yeah.
is the right one. Anything you have to say about the purport, changes, text, whatever?
Unnecessary changes like usual. Pretty good purport. Understandable. Yeah.
Okay. Reading the.
We're reading letters?
We are indeed reading letters.
Seriously. I
No.
didn't sign up for reading letters, man. Oh, don't look at me like that.
Well,
Don't know who you're looking at, man.
I'm looking at you.
Who is me, though? Am I the soul or the body? Who am I? Do I even exist?
Bro, you read it. I'll read some of it. You read some of it.
Okay, I can live with that. Shri Shri Vaishnava Ka. It's written in the 26th Avenue, hashtag B1, New York, 10,003 USA, May 17th, 1967. Shri Shri Vaishnava Karne Dandavat Nati Purvikeyam. I'm offering my Dandavat pranamas to the Vaishnava's lotus feet, and then I'm writing. Shripad Narayana Maharaj. I received your letter dated 11th of May, 1967, and I have become so much upset. In the letter you say, you have given me some advice about good behavior for living in the mṛtyuḥ.
Can you slow
Also,
down a bit for it?
you want me to read the letter?
Yeah, but read it in a way where I can actually understand what you're saying.
Maybe you can't understand it, but maybe other people can.
So he's upset because he got a letter from Narayana Maharaj.
I'll read it from the top.
Okay, thanks.
I received your letter dated 11th of May, 1967, and have become so much upset. In the letter you say, you have given me some advice about good behavior for living in the mṛtyuḥ. Also in this letter you write, there is no need for you to give me this advice. I could not remember where I have written this thing. So you must tell me in which letter I have written this and send me a quotation of what I said. Otherwise, I am feeling very upset. Because in all Gaudiya Maths, I think that you are the real Guru Sevaka. So I always correspond with you and I give my full love and affection to you. If I was not thinking like this and putting so much trust in you, I would never have sent you my key and my money. I have so much faith and love for you. Why do you think that I am criticizing you? If you think this, it is a thunderbolt striking my head. Please, I'm requesting you to send a copy or quotation of that letter. Otherwise, the pain in my mind will not go away. I never wrote to criticize you. This is contrary to the result I wanted. I'm making an inquiry at the bank. When you get the money, you must send me news of it immediately. If you send me your bank account number, I can send money to the account number in the future. Then there will be no difficulty. Regarding Vinoda Kamara,
Hold up.
Regarding Vinoda Kumara, I sent you a copy of his first letter. Perhaps the first letter Vinoda Kumara didn't say anything about his clothes or maintenance, or that he wanted rupees 800 or 1,000. But now that he is asking, I and my trustees have become upset. You know that it is very expensive here. If anyone wants to stay here independently, it is impossible. To take a visitor's visa and then earn money by working is illegal. So, as I informed you before, it must be handled carefully. If he comes on a visitor's visa by appointment on probation, then perhaps in the future we can help him. If this is clear, then on the condition that he can come on then on this condition only he can come on the visitor's visa. Otherwise, he can come on an alien expert application as a music master. He can apply at the embassy for this. He can say, I want to earn money as a music teacher. If the American embassy gives permission, then as the alien music master, I have no objection. But not if he comes here with a visitor's visa and tries to earn money to send to his country. I've written about this matter before, and now I'm writing again. So you must take care of this. There is such a difference between our country and America in regards to the rules and regulations of the mathas and mandiras. Without permission, collecting 1 farthing here is not possible. If, as a music master, he wants to stay here independently, his room rent, food, and lodging will cost $200 per month. That is rupees 1,500. Who will supply this money? That is my worry. Again, I write that with a visitor's visa, it is not possible to earn money in this country. If he gets the alien expert visa, he can come, and I have no objection. He can stay in our mutt and earn money and have employment. He can do this. Write me whatever you decide. I hope all is well with you. Yours, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Was that a good speed?
Did you get what it said?
You can't earn money in America on a visitor's visa.
Yeah. So you want to create the background for that? The story so far.
I don't know the story so far.
Well, you read the last letter with me.
Yeah, he was asking for mridungas and cartels, and he's been asking for about 8 months.
It was 8 months at the last letter.
8 months at the last
August
letter.
of 66. And when's this one?
May 67. So it's been a while, and in the last one he was talking about bringing Vinod Kumar over, and he gave him like 100 rupees to do so or something.
Yeah, he sent 1,500 rupees like the year before, and then, you know, for the mridungas and the deities, and then they didn't get, Narayana Maharaj didn't get them, so he said, we'll put the money in the bank then. So he got the money back. Well, it's in the bank at least. But he still was like, but I sent the mridungas, you know? And then it's like, oh, this guy Vinod Kumar wants to come over. He's like, okay, great, you know, here's how we can get him over here. And now it sounds like Vinod Kumar's like, how much money am I going to get? I want to like get a job in America. And he's like, okay, look, we can do that too. Here's how we can do it. This is what it will need. But like, dude, this guy wants to come over here just to get a job. It's like 1,500 rupees a month, which is like, I want to say $500.
200.
200?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yep.
Now?
Oh, now?
No, well then.
Then.
200.
It was 200 then?
Yeah.
You mentioned it in this
Yes.
list?
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, so $200, which is a lot of money.
So it's not worth for him to be here spending more in expenditures.
Yeah. Was it the last letter that we read where he was apologizing for his disciple Chandrasekhar, like writing a letter to Narayan Maharaj?
No.
So prior to that letter, there was another letter, and he wrote that he was apologizing, saying, oh, my disciple Chandrasekhar in Delhi wrote to you. And so it must have been an Indian disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And like blasted him. And, you know, I'd speculate that Srila Prabhupada must have said to him, like, hey, I sent the money over to this guy. He said he's going to send me the stuff, and he hasn't sent it, you know. And I don't know where he is. I haven't heard anything from him. Can you, like, go and see him and find out what's happening, you know? What happened to my money? And then Chandrasekhar's gone and written a letter to Narayan Maharaj and put him on blast.
Put who?
Narayan Maharaj.
Ah.
And so now it's come back to Srila Prabhupada, and so Srila Prabhupada's like, I apologize, you know, like, he doesn't know how to deal with the senior Vaishnava. It's like,
Mm.
I would never say such a thing. And now, somehow, Narayan Maharaj, maybe he's referring to the letter that Chandrasekhar wrote.
Oh, and this one, he's referring
A
to.
letter that Srila Prabhupada wrote, but Srila Prabhupada's like, I never said anything like that, man. Like, where's the exact quote? Like, when did I ever say that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know where Narayan Maharaj is getting it from because we don't have his side of the conversation. But he might be mixing it up or referring to what Chandrasekhar said to him. But Prabhupada's just like, look, I never said that. But Prabhupada's like, I can understand his frustration. He's there by himself. He's making devotees in America. And he's like, this is actually happening. Like, for real. Send the mridangas over. You know, he's doing everything he can to try to get them. And at the same time, he's having to manage his own reaction to that. Because later on, there's a whole breakdown between ISKCON and the Gaudiya Math, because he's like, these god brothers of mine are useless. They just sit in the temple ringing the bell. That's what he said. And you can start to hear how that developed in these letters, because he's like begging for help. And then just not coming through.
Oh, he's not only begging for help, he's, compensating, sending the money so that they can do it.
Yeah.
Sending his money, or not his money, but the money that he has. Okay, that's the letter. Do you want to read the purport once more to end off?
jātasya hi dhruvo mṛtyur dhruvam janma mṛtasya cha tasmād aparihārye rthe tvam śocitum arhasi. For one who has taken his birth, death is certain, and for one who is dead, birth is certain. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining in live. Thank you for the people who watch afterwards. Yeah, if you like the content that we're doing, tag a friend to share it around, and yeah, we will see you next time. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, total world victory for Hare Krishna. Yes. See you guys some other time.
Bye.